The warmest U.S. winter on record, yet another grim signal of a climate shift, according to AFP. This winter was the warmest ever recorded in the mainland United States, data showed Friday. The latest sign the world is moving towards an unprecedented era as a result of the climate crisis. The average temperature in the so-called lower 48 states from December 2023 to February 2024 was 36.7 degrees Fahrenheit. That's 3.1 Celsius. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, said, the highest in a record that goes back to the 1890s. It was 5.4 degrees Fahrenheit above the 20th century average for the world's second biggest greenhouse gas emitter behind China. The second warmest winter came in 2016, which averaged 36.8 degrees Fahrenheit, while the coldest on record came in 1979, a frigid 26.6 Fahrenheit. 8 states across the upper Midwest, Great Lakes, and Northeast saw their warmest winters on record, boosted in part by the El Niño weather pattern. On Thursday, Governor Tim Walz of Minnesota announced the state had unlocked federal funding for businesses impacted by reduced snow, from skiing and snowshoeing to winter festivals. The heat continued through February. Data showed average temperatures for the contiguous United States, which excludes Hawaii, Alaska, and offshore territories, as 41.1 Fahrenheit for the month. That's minus 7.2 degrees Fahrenheit above average, and the third warmest on record. Wildfires, droughts, and floods. The Smokehouse Creek wildfire, which began February 26 and became the largest blaze in Texas history, burned more than 1 million acres, 400,000 hectares in the Texas Panhandle and western Oklahoma, the agency said. Persistent warmth led to a steady decrease in the ice coverage across the Great Lakes, reaching a historic low of 2.7% coverage on February 11, when ice coverage normally peaks. We've crossed a threshold in which we are at a historic low for ice cover for the Great Lakes as a whole, Brian Broska, scientist for the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, said in a recent statement. Absence of ice impacts everything from businesses that rely on outdoor sports to fish that use ice to protect themselves from predators during spawning season. It also makes the shoreline more susceptible to erosion, increasing potential damage to coastal infrastructure. February also ranked as the third driest month in the historic record, but while some regions experienced drought, unusual atmospheric patterns brought heavy rain and snow to parts of the West, causing powerful winds, flooding, landslides, and power outages in parts of California. 1.5 degrees Celsius limit breached. President Joe Biden referred to global warming as a climate crisis in his State of the Union speech on Thursday night, moving away from the phrase climate change, and hailed his signature climate infrastructure law. Last month was the warmest February on record globally, the 9th straight month of historic high temperatures across the planet, Europe's climate monitor said early this week. Copernicus Climate Change Service, C3S, last month said the period from February 2023 to January 2024 marked the first time Earth had endured 12 consecutive months of temperatures 1.5 degrees Celsius hotter than the pre-industrial era. The UN's IPCC climate panel has warned that the world will likely crash through the 1.5 degrees Celsius target for warming in the early 2030s. Holding warming to below 1.5 Celsius has been deemed crucial to averting a long-time planetary climate disaster. Planet heating emissions, mainly from the burning of fossil fuels, continue to rise when scientists say they need to fall by almost half this decade. Countries at UN climate negotiations in Dubai last year agreed to triple global renewables capacity this decade and transition away from fossil fuels, but the deal lacked details in time commitments. The United States is the second largest emitter of greenhouse gases, but is responsible for about a fifth of global historic emissions going back to 1850, with China a relatively distant second. The World Meteorological Organization says that there is a chance that La Nina, which unlike El Nino lowers global temperature, will develop later this year, and an 80% probability of neutral conditions, neither El Nino nor La Nina, from April to June. This was from Agence France Presse, and it's on Science Alert by Asim Ahmed. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.